Mastering 2's. Finally, I get to watch some more Halo 5 at the top level of play, but this time it's in the form of a 2v2. If you don't already know, competitive Halo 5 2v2s have made a bit of a comeback recently. They were featured a couple weeks ago at Face It London and will be featured again in Atlantic City for Halo Classic. Some of the best, most talented players are coming back to play this game again. You got players like Shotzi and Renegade and Saiyan and Neptune and Trippy and Penguin, and that's just a few coming back to play this game at the highest level. So this is the perfect time for a breakdown. This is the perfect time to learn and improve our level of play. And that's exactly what we're going to do in today's video. We're going to watch a full match of Slayer on Truth from the perspective of Saiyan and break down some of his top plays. Let's not waste any time. Let's master 2's. Alright, here we go. Saiyan and Neptune versus Scariotic and Vemzy. This is taken from Saiyan's past broadcast on Twitch. I will be pausing and playing and rewinding and slow-moing, so hopefully I keep a good pace and flow for you guys going forward, give you as much info as I can in a short period of time. Let's kick it off with the starting strat, and of course, starting strats in a 2v2 are nowhere near as elaborate. You've only got 2 players. The main objective here is to grab that camo. Either grab or burn the camo. So you'll have one player fly forward to try to get it or burn it. The second player could be more of a back player, maybe play from blue window or pink street, try to get angles and cross the opposition, or they could be aggressive, fly forward to top mid, but the objective is to get that camo. So Neptune will play back, he'll play from blue window. Saiyan will sprint, jump, thrust forward. And it's good that if you're flying into pink, you burn that thrust nice and early, do like either a thrust slide or a sprint jump thrust forward so that that thrust can come back in time for your battle here. And you'll see Saiyan's flying forward here. He notices that Scariotic pushes up onto pink street. Scariotic doesn't have an immediate angle, so Saiyan says, fuck it, I'll just fly straight forward and get that camo as early as I can. But he actually doesn't go camo. He gets the plasma nades first, which is a smart play from him. He's going to make sure that he clears out the opposition before he just dives on it blindly, and these plasma nades might help him later. So he'll push up, start getting shots on a Scariotic. His teammate Neptune will help out. They cross him, take him down, grabs camo, and then makes an incorrect prediction here. I think he didn't realize Vemzy was down on P1 with him, or he thought that Vemzy would push around and try to get behind him, so he went out front. The biggest mistake would just be the reload that he makes here. Of course, he burned the camo in the end, so nothing was really too wrong, but he could technically level up this scenario by not reloading and burning his sticky. If he used his sticky right here, he could have taken down Vemzy with him. But regardless, his objective was complete here. He got the camo, he got the burn, and next is where will he spawn? So Saiyan takes out Scariotic, grabs the camo, gets taken out by Vemzy, who is then taken out by Neptune. And it's an 8-second spawn cycle. So Saiyan on spawn, Scariotic is probably back up now. There he is on car 1, firing shots into blue base, takes out Neptune, and by firing shots into blue, he's taking spawn influence off of blue, so it makes sense that Saiyan spawns up in red base here. Now Saiyan will push forward, hearing the car 1 call out, but recognizes that he is alone for these 8 seconds. He can't afford to be aggressive. The best thing he can do is make a passive play and listen to where the enemy is. He makes a prediction that Scariotic is going to push up car door and just sits here and places his reticle perfectly, so he's going to get first shot in this situation, and then watch the battle. There goes Scariotic, and 3 shots into Vemzy before he goes down, giving Neptune an opportunity to finish the kill, which is amazing. Such amazing use of his life and his resources here, and this is something that separates Saiyan from other players. He is so good at just strafing and crouching and being confident in that and saving his tools like his jump and his thrust until after his opponent uses them so that he can counter with them. You'll see Scariotic jumps first, thrusts first, he counter thrusts, finishes him off, and somehow managed to get those nice shots into Vemzy as well. And I don't think he expected 2 players to push up on red car door like that, so he was overwhelmed, could not expect to survive, but that was the best he could do with that scenario. And of course, if we play it back in slow motion, you can see how he's able to focus, like prioritize strafe. Of course, first shot right here, getting that first shot is crucial. It allows him to be confident in his strafe, and you can notice that confidence because he starts closing the distance. He moves forward as he strafes and puts pressure onto Scariotic, and the entire objective of this strafe is to try to stay in front of the opponent. The right stick only really starts to move towards the very end when the jumping and thrusting comes into the battle. So the first portion of the battle here, lining it up, trying to stay in front of the opponent with the strafe. You'll notice at one point he ends up missing. He ends up over strafing right. So right here, over strafes right, barely adjusts with the right stick, misses the shot because of it. And then this scenario here, this is the spot where people usually miss a shot in a battle because they don't predict the thrust. And it's hard to expect when that thrust is going to happen, but when a player jumps when they're weak, usually that thrust is coming. What you could try to do is land that one shot in the body and then pace yourself. Expect the thrust, save that last shot so you nail it. You'll notice Saiyan will miss the shot here because of the thrust. So he shoots out in open space, but he has a thrust in his back pocket so he can counter thrust and make up for it and still get the kill. So he's still okay. But something to keep in mind, that's usually where people go wrong. They miss that one thrust. So you can try to pace yourself, predict the thrust, and then follow up, or you can just save that thrust like Saiyan did, do the counter, and make up for the shots that you missed. Either way, beautiful play, and it's just testament to how he's able to save those resources till after his opponents. So Neptune, the last one up, is going to take advantage of this timing to fly to top mid and grab combo, the second most important thing behind camo to have control of. Now Saiyan spawning up with Neptune on pink side, the car side spawns would have been open for Scariotic and Vemzy. And as they push in from car, Saiyan, recognizing that, instead of going into pink with Neptune, decides to take a wide route and flank from the other side, try to get a pinch, which is smart by Saiyan here, pushing up through bottom mid, listening to Neptune to time this properly. Vemzy challenges him, and once again, the same type of scenario. Vemzy a little trigger happy with the jump and the thrust, and Saiyan saving his. He enters the battle with a jump, which could be dangerous, but in this scenario, he's got an upward ramp in front of him, so his feet will hit the floor nice and early, so he lands on the floor. Vemzy with the very quick jump thrust, a little trigger happy, which is going to leave him vulnerable later. Saiyan strafing backwards, jumping forwards into him, and then thrusting backwards away so he can get those final shots to finish off the kill. He is so smart and efficient with that, and Vemzy a little too early with the thrust on the challenge, giving Saiyan the opportunity to do that. Of course, right after you die, what's the best exit? What's the best thing you can do? Immediately snaps his reticle over to the car door and backs up at the same time to give himself an easy escape route option without fully losing the angle to help Neptune if necessary, which is very smart here. So he's just going to stay in this spot, fire the shots that he needs to, thrust backward to stay alive, and then just give him the 1-2, switch it out with Neptune so that he can come in and finish that kill. So right after that bait and switch, Saiyan doesn't waste any time. He's flying from car over to red. They just got the kills on Vemzy and Scariotic in blue. Likely the spawn is flipped over to the red side. Saiyan pushing up, predicting they might be in toilet, tosses a nade over, notices he's up in pink attic, and then he's going to get double teamed and melted immediately. The only thing I could say about this situation is maybe it was a bit of a timing error. He could have predicted that Vemzy could have spawned a little bit earlier, and he might not just be hiding out in the toilet. He might have already pushed up by that time, so that toilet nade might not have been necessary. And he also could have challenged this a little bit closer to the wall on the left, so it would have been easier to escape. But ultimately, these are minor nitpicks. He didn't predict that two people would take him out so quickly and completely melt him. Now Neptune trying to stay alive in bottom red here. He's got the combo, really tough situation for him, but Saiyan spawning up on pink. He won't waste any time flying through bottom mid to go help. Neptune managing to get a crucial kill on Scariotic as well, and knowing that they're 2 up, 1 dead, Saiyan can afford to push up to the middle of the map here. And as he pushes up here, you'll see he throws a nade, takes a lot of free shots for it. One thing to keep in mind is as you're walking up, you can continue firing shots, applying pressure, keeping that player down, and then wait to throw the nade until right here. Throw the nade right before you clamber so that you don't have to take a ton of unnecessary damage. The nade still hits the same location, but Saiyan still knows how to stay alive in this situation, even though with being one shot, that player pushes out through red over to pink. Scariotic spawns up, starts shooting him in the back, and now he's in P2, predicts that Vemzy will push up through the blue side pink street, but he pushes up red instead. Now Vemzy making an interesting play because his teammate Neptune spawned up in red behind him, and Saiyan knew that, so it would be very unsafe for Vemzy to challenge on the same side that his teammate was spawning. But I guess Vemzy, in his mind, he decided if he's fast enough, he can still trick Saiyan and get behind him and get the kill. In this case, ends up being a trade. So now Saiyan is going to spawn up again, and as you can see, we have a player in pink 2. Neptune opted to stay in a passive position on pink street and wait for Saiyan to spawn bottom red with him so they can push together on pink. So smart from Neptune to not fly forward and challenge P2 right away. Now they can move forward together. Saiyan will push up, nade into P2, notices Vemzy, nice shots into Vemzy, and he backs him down. This is a crucial opportunity to be aware of in a 2v2. By backing down Vemzy in this situation and having Scariotic alone in P2, they have given themselves an important timing opportunity. They have a timing advantage here, and Saiyan knows it. Watch what he does. Jumps up, doesn't even bother to challenge Scary in P2. He knows he has Neptune on the pink street. Neptune can do the challenge. Saiyan instead wants to get to P3 because he has a timing advantage because Vemzy backed down. Flies to P3, sprints across, which is something you might not do in a 4v4 because you got radar, you got more people on the map, but because it's a 2v2, he can sprint, slide across, get that front pink angle, get the kill, and now it's 2v1 on Vemzy. Vemzy has to back down. Saiyan knows that once again, he can cut him off. He can take advantage of the timing, and he decides to go all the way through, grab the plasma nade, which to keep in mind, good thing to grab as you fly by, thrusts into the base, and now they can pinch once again, and there's nothing Vemzy can do. That's another set of kills, and now they're worried about predicting spawns, probably over on the car side. As Saiyan moves up, you can see he's thinking maybe in car as they move up carefully. And I forgot to mention that it's 9:45 on the clock, meaning that winning that team battle was crucial because it also gave up the camo to the blue team. So now Neptune has camo, and of course red team knows that they gave up the camo by losing that fight, so red team's response to this camo grab is to play passive, to be quiet, to hide, and to listen, and to try to get the upper hand on camo. Now, of course, with Neptune having camo, his objective is to try to get information. Everybody playing passively here, Neptune is going to try to spot these players, give the colors to Saiyan so he can come collapse and help out. Neptune, in a second, is about to get into battle on top car here. You'll see he backs down, gives Saiyan the info. Saiyan decides to immediately run out and challenge, but Scariotic is hiding in blue car. So good play by Scariotic, spreading himself out and hiding and listening, waiting for an opportunity like this so he can get the upper hand on Saiyan. Saiyan will jump forward to challenge. Saiyan knows he's in a terrible spot here. He needs to get himself near some sort of cover. This is his best opportunity. He doesn't want to challenge around. He could take the jump over to challenge, but it would be risky considering how one-shot he is, so he'll walk out forward. And then he's going to turn around, noticing that Neptune jumps up to car 2. He doesn't want to take the same angle. He's going to come back around from the other side. He always wants to get a pinch scenario, but takes shots in the back, comes forward, misses the stick, gets taken out from both sides. There isn't really any way he could have survived. The only thing I could think is that if he was right here, notices Scariotic, if he immediately backed down so he was vulnerable to the guy who was shooting him in the back, and if the guy who was shooting him in the back looked away for a split second, thinking that Saiyan has committed himself around the corner, maybe he could have dodged Scariotic shots long enough for Neptune to get the kill, but ultimately I don't think that player behind him would have just looked away the moment he left behind that wall. So I think he was dead 100%. Regardless, Neptune will stay alive with the camo, which is important. He'll take that kill, and Saiyan's going to spawn up once again. He'll spawn up on red car and try to work with Neptune here. Neptune spotting Vemzy, and Vemzy dropping down in front blue. They try to finish him off and grab him. Saiyan flying up to the pink street, gets in a battle with Scariotic, both of them with a very fast, very tight strafe in this battle. You'll notice that Saiyan actually does the first thrust burn this time, but his thrust burn is an escape thrust. So something to keep in mind is that thrust, he accidentally hit the wall, but that was meant to get him out of the battle and give him an opportunity to get the shot at the same time. So that's a scenario where you might want to do the first thrust if it's an escape thrust like that, and it's going to be to land that final kill shot. So they get the kill. Right now they're waiting and thinking of spawns, right? Blue base might be spawns, considering the fact that Neptune is up on pink side. He's going to push up into pink 2. It might be blue, might be over on blue car. Blue base seems like the likely one. And Saiyan, he's just going to wait here. He's just going to try to find an opportunity with his teammate Neptune. Meanwhile, up in pink 2, as they see nades coming up from blue, Saiyan will now push forward, and I love this push. Watch. Nade bounce off of top mid, and shoots the plasma, and a second nade in the window. All three of the things he does here are pretty exceptional. So the nade bounce off of top mid will send that nade sailing into blue window, and because he bounced it here, it's going to start that explosion timer the moment it hits the floor so that it explodes once it hits the window. So you'll see it pops right in the window, kills Vemzy, and he has a second backup nade. If Vemzy was trying to escape, let's say through the window this direction, nade up into the window, and he nades the plasma in case for whatever reason Vemzy was trying to shoot that plasma as he flies forward. So he's got like literally plan A, plan B, plan C all done in like 2 seconds, and now he's flying up into blue base and getting ready for a battle in the car side. Knowing that the last surviving player is in blue, Saiyan opts to not just jump up to top blue immediately. Instead, he's wrapping around through car side to create another pinch scenario with Neptune pushing up through pink, which is smart, but he can't locate him immediately, ends up tossing a nade at himself and killing himself in top blue base in a bit of a embarrassing situation. What ends up actually happening though is he flies forward, can't locate Scariotic, and then hears that he's up in pink attic above him, so he decides to jump and throw a nade, but Scariotic accidentally jumps on his head. If a player jumps on your head in this game, it halts your upward momentum, sends you back down to the floor. Saiyan had already committed to the nade toss, ends up throwing it at the wall, can't escape, and then dies immediately. And you can see the look on his face. He's a little embarrassed by it. But unfortunate situation. He's going to spawn up in car regardless, try to get some shots into Scariatic, and then recognizes red side's open. He's just going to fly over through red. It's 8-11 right now in the timing, so Camo's coming up very soon. It's important that they control pink. Conveniently, red team gave up pink side, decided to go into blue base. So Saiyan right now taking advantage of P3. His only objective here is to stay alive and apply pressure into blue, keep the players back, and be a nuisance. He doesn't need to get kills. He just needs to stay alive and apply pressure and hold those angles. So you'll see very efficiently jumping back and forth, getting angles on Scary, but staying behind this area of P3, not going up forward to a place where he's vulnerable, always having cover nearby. And you'll notice as he continues to look for angles, he'll find another player top blue, fire shots into him, backs down, and then challenges out to check this angle just in case the other player decides to push through, but knows that he's vulnerable on his left side. So watch, you'll see he saves a thrust to immediately burn it to fly back into here when that player re-challenged out on blue window. So he's back in cover once again, firing shots, goes back down, and just even knowing to fire that last shot, like thrusting back in, and then recognizing he's weak here. Scariatic probably could predict that he's weak and might not try to challenge right back out, but Saiyan knows he's got free timing basically to do like a nice quick bop and then go right back into cover. So little things like that he does to keep the players back, apply pressure, and take advantage of these scenarios. It happened to be the moment that Scariatic opted to throw a nade too, so he got a good advantage there too. Coming from the other side here, now stopping Vemzy, and this is the perfect moment that Neptune grabbed Camo underneath him. So now Neptune has secured Camo. Saiyan has done everything to help out in this situation and just be a nuisance on P2. Peeks out shots into Scariatic. Neptune telling him to stay alive here. I can get this kill. And Saiyan just doing everything he can to just be annoying and not play his life. Just stay alive, be a complete nuisance on the map. Now Trav, Neptune can push up, they can work together. Vemzy very aggressive, and of course Neptune has the camo, so Vemzy's just going to play his life and just try to sacrifice himself to get this kill, but Saiyan will take advantage and they'll clean him up before he can even take out camo here. Once again, he can push up on car, and he's thinking either red car or red base spawn. He's going to push up through red car, and in doing so, he will know for a fact that red base is the spawn. So right now blocking red car, red base is 100% the spawn. As he pushes up here, he's going to get into battle. First, he'll finish off Scariatic with some nice shots in pink. Attic gets in a battle with Vemzy, and then watch this. This is a perfect example of pacing your shot versus spamming your shot in the crucial moment at the end of this fight here. So moves up, finishes off Scariatic, and then some nice strafing in the beginning of this battle to dodge each other's shots, and then Vemzy with the jump and the thrust, same with the immediate counter thrust. They're both flying through the air, and then watch how many shots Vemzy shoots versus how much Saiyan shoots. You'll see Vemzy is just turret. He's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Saiyan shoots about 2 shots afterwards. So he'll shoot, recognizes the thrust, waits, and paces himself 1, 2, and then he finishes him off with paced shots. So an interesting scenario. It's not to say that spamming is the wrong thing to do, but you can see how Vemzy's idea to spam as many shots as he could, kind of like a turret here, ended up, with him missing versus Saiyan very carefully placing those final 2 shots, getting the headshots. So interesting to keep in mind. Maybe pacing yourself towards the end of a fight in a scenario like that could give you advantages. Now Saiyan will push up on blue. They got kills in red, spawns open on blue. They just continue to rotate, continue to collapse and apply pressure with spawn prediction. So he flies through blue, notices Scariatic on car, scopes in to take the battle, but pay attention to how he even gets into this battle in the first place. He knows there might be players on car, so he slides forward over to the right. He doesn't go to the center of the doorway. He slides out to the right side of the doorway to give himself easy options to escape if necessary. He can drop into lift, he can take cover. Always pay attention to stuff like that. He's entering this battle from a relatively safe spot. You'll notice he backs up as he fires shots. Another thing that Saiyan is very good at in scoped battles is he's very good at being ready to be descoped. He is always ready to be descoped. If he gets shot, he will be descoped, and after that, he makes sure to quickly snap in once again and try to get the re-scope on the player, like right there. Usually he hits the moments that he re-scopes, but you'll see he scopes in, gets descoped, waits for a sec, and then snaps in to try to land that shot, which unfortunately he misses. So wait, snap, right there. And that's something he usually does very effectively. Knows he's going to be descoped and readies himself to just quickly rescope in and land that shot. They kill Scariatic on top mid. He flies through bottom mid. They want to collapse and get that final player when they have timing to do so, and he's in red base. So Saiyan flying through bottom mid, doesn't go up to top red. You think some people might want to go up to top red, get up there, challenge the guy. Saiyan's playing patiently, though. He goes through and around from pink side for an easy pinch. Something to keep in mind. I feel like high-level players would try to go top red, but Saiyan going under and around getting the pinch. Scariatic spawning up, pushing to top mid, trying to pick up the pieces, and now he's just stuck on top mid. And Saiyan, cheeky moment right here, takes advantage of that little angle underneath the blast shield to shoot his feet. And Saiyan also recognizing he doesn't have nades in this situation, but he's so damn aware. He knows exactly where the nades are, so he slides in to grab the nades to toss them over to try to put damage in on top mid and continue that pressure while he stays alive in P2. Meanwhile, Neptune in top red, Vemzy spawned up in cart, and Vemzy's going to try to push up through cart to get into red, and watch the timing from both of these guys. It's so exceptional. Saiyan just staying alive, applying pressure, Neptune in red, applying pressure, he gets shots, backs him down, Trav Neptune decides to fly out of red and challenge top mid to finish off top mid at the exact same time that Vemzy pushed through red car doors. So Vemzy was out of the field of play for a split second. Neptune took advantage, flew away to top mid, killed Scariatic, and now they're both alive once again, and Vemzy is late to the fight. So very interesting how they're able to very quickly rotate, split their resources, time things effectively. Vemzy now one shot. Saiyan, very smart, very patient play here. He doesn't take the bait and try to chase Vemzy while he's one shot. You'll notice as he flies in, he gets the shots into Vemzy. Vemzy thrusts out to escape under red base. He knows Neptune's in a better position to finish that off. Instead, Saiyan's thinking, where is Scariatic? Scariatic's going to spawn up. He might spawn in car. Got to be ready for that spawn. He's not worried about chasing and giving his life up easily, though he does make a mistake here. He jump, thrusts into the wall, and dies for it. Now, his thought process was correct. If you back down in this scenario, this is a very easy nade trap behind this attic, behind the car attic. You don't want to sit here. You'll get killed by nades. So the optimal escape is the moment you drop to jump thrust out to pink attic. He just misses it by a fraction. He meant to go a little bit over to the right so he could clamber up to pink attic and escape that scenario. He will die though and spawn back up, and it's a rough time to die because Camo's about to come up, so Neptune really needs to win this fight. Unfortunately, he goes down though. Red team has a free opportunity to grab Camo. Saiyan knows that. He spots a player front red but decides to fly all the way through to pink side, try to contest Camo if it's still up. Unfortunately, he's too late. Neptune calls out as a player pushing through blue, and I love this battle between him and Scariatic, not using his resources till the very end once again. This is how Saiyan gets away with stuff like this. He knows he's in a pretty decent spot to survive in this fight. He's got wall cover beside him, doesn't necessarily need to jump or thrust, but so many other players would burn jumps, they would thrust in these scenarios. But Saiyan, just watch, just strafing and crouching, very effectively using his environment around him and saving his jump and his thrust till after Scariatic has thrusted out and committed himself. Then he jumps and thrusts, and he doesn't even reload as well. Like, so many people would get this kill on Scariatic and instantly reload afterwards, but he decides to wait and fire his final two shots into Vemzy. He gets a single shot into Vemzy. Neptune finishes him off. Now, Vemzy, really over-aggressive thrust. That thrust to the right should not have happened from Vemzy. He should have played that carefully. He should have been playing from this spot of pink and not burning his thrust unnecessarily, because he killed himself for that. Like, he gave up his life. Easy kill for Neptune to clean him up, and there goes Camo, the one real opportunity they had to get some momentum back on the map here. Now 22-11, he spawns up in pink, noticing a player opposite side car once again. He'll fly forward and continue the pressure, gets in a nice fight with Scariatic. Now he will go down here. The unfortunate thing about this is if he had thrusted just a hair upwards to the right, like a little farther up, like he goes too far to the right, if he was a little closer to this wall up here when he falls in pit, then he could have gone down the lift and clambered up on this ledge when he comes up the lift, but he's just too far away from that ledge. So always make sure that if you dive into this pit where the lift is, you dive into a position where you're near this ledge so you can clamber it when you come back up instead of having to fly all the way out and take a free death just like that. So Saiyan will die for it, just narrowly missing with that thrust. And then both of these players decide to push front blue, and Neptune with the perfect nade bounce off the floor, blows up, gets damage on both, gets the melee kill, tries to finish off Vemzy, is unable to, goes down. Saiyan Saiyan pushing forward. We'll get shots into Vemzy. Noticing Vemzy's in blue, he wants to fly out and get a good vantage point on Pink's side. He's very quick to take advantage of areas in the map that are crucial like this and flies through to Pink. And now from Pink, noticing a Scariodic somehow spawned up in red base behind him, will try to challenge him and take a battle. He's got players on both sides, gets a call out that Vemzy is bottom mid, and I love how he adapts to this situation. He is currently the last player alive. Neptune went down. He knows that Vemzy's bottom mid because Neptune called it out. He knows the Scariodic's over in red base. If he waits in P2, Vemzy will come up from bottom mid to top mid. Scariodic will come through the Pink Street. They'll pinch and collapse, and he will die in a 2v1. So instead, he takes advantage of this tight timing window and sprint jump thrust to top mid to beat Vemzy to top mid, and now he's in a position of cover from red base, and he has a high ground advantage on Vemzy. So perfect that he was able to do that so quickly. Fires shots into Vemzy. Vemzy backs off underneath him. He has the patience and just high-level awareness to know to not chase him out bottom mid. He decides, I cannot kill this guy anymore. I'm going to leave him. Now I'm going to look for Scariodic. Neptune will spawn up in blue base and can help finish off Vemzy anyway. So he'll jump up, fire shots into Scariodic, thrust. He can afford to thrust here. He got 3 shots into Scary before Scary even located him, so he can burn that early thrust, and it puts him near red base. When he thrusts that way, it gives him red base as an escape option if Vemzy was to try to go for some sort of a re-challenge. So just taking into consideration every single option, he can finish off Scariodic while Neptune finishes off Vemzy. They can take out that win in dominant fashion. And that is how you mastered 2's. Of course, that's just one way to master 2's. There's so many other scenarios, even on just that map, that could be covered, but very long-winded video, a lot of information in this video, so in the interest of time, I'm going to cut it off here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys found it informative, and if you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell beside the subscribe button, and keep in touch with everything the moment it comes out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.